So I wasn't really sure at first if I was gonna do this vlog, and at first I taped some of this actually last night, and I know some people when I start talking are gonna think I'm talking about a particular event, a particular person, and the sad thing is I'm not. I'm making a general statement. I'm calling this for the boys, but it's not. This is a message to promoters. Don't run your event. For rule number one, do not run an event unless you know that you can follow through on the promises that you've made to have your event happen. I don't care if that's you've offered the guy who's driven your U-Haul truck because for whatever reason you don't know how to drive a hot dog. I don't care if it's 20 bucks. I don't care if it's a t-shirt. If you cannot uphold your end of the bargain, if you can't pay your venue, don't hold the event. Don't even plan the event if you know you're not going to be able to uphold your end of the bargain. If you don't have the financial assets to make sure your event is successful before you open the doors, don't have it. What kills me is the promoters who say, I want 155% from you. I want the commitment in you because I want a commitment from you because I'm putting a commitment in you to make us we are the big thing, and you need to show that you deserve your spot here. Oh, but by the way, make sure you tear apart my ring, you clean up my venue, you take care of what other business I need you to take care of. Oh, and then at the end of the night, I forgot to tell you, I don't have the money for anybody tonight to get paid. Don't. And then don't get pissed when you demand loyalty from your guys in the future and you're laughed at, or we don't give you that loyalty, and you get mad and don't understand why. You're not upholding your end of the deal, period. It's ridiculous for you to assume that we're just going to fall in line. Don't lie or leave people in the lurch. Especially, we all understand things happen. We all understand things happen. And I'm definitely of the school anyway, that I don't go to an event unless I know I can pay my own way and travel to and from. Don't lie and say things like when your wife is there at the ticket table putting the money in the locked cash box with a guy from your school and your best bud and a police officer saying, oh, somebody stole the cash box. Somebody stole the money from the cash box. When we watched you put the money in your pocket, when we saw you put the money in your car, we saw your wife put the money in her purse. Because those moments are great to be confronted on, because trust me, I've had those moments of conversation where I've had to confront promoters about that. And I know people don't expect that from me. I know people don't even really know how long I've been in the business. And you know, maybe that's better. Maybe I'm not going to even say. I will say it's over a decade. Congratulations, happy birthday. I haven't been wrestling that long, but I've been in the business longer than that. It's ridiculous that you lie. It's ridiculous that you can't uphold your end of the bargain. And promoters, let me explain something to you. As a promoter, one who promotes, it is your job to make sure that your event's taken care of. It is your job to put your event together. Don't go out to eat 2 hours before the show, or excuse me, the event's supposed to start, because it is an event, not a show. Let's get that right. If you can't uphold your end of the bargain, if you can't put your own event together, why are you running an event? Why do you want to have one? If you have all these crazy ideas, and I'm not even going into the crazy ideas stuff, I'm really just on the business side of it. But having a quality event is part of the business side of it. If you want to see certain things done, and then A, don't explain what you want to see, or 2, just never say, don't get pissed when it doesn't happen. Don't get pissed when you don't confront the guy about it when it doesn't happen. And don't when you get mad about something that happened at the event before. Take it out in your entire locker room. I'm sorry if you're not man enough to talk to somebody, pull them aside and have a conversation and say, you know, this last event you did X, don't do it this time. Don't you dare take it out on all your boys. Don't treat the people in your locker room who are the professionals like they're 5-year-olds. Granted, some of us have moments, but for the majority, don't do that. Don't blame your locker room either if nobody fills your seats. It is not the talent's fault. It's the promoter's fault. Again, one who promotes. How are you advertising? Do you have the Field of Dreams concept? I will build it and they will come. Did you just do internet? Did you just do MySpace? MySpace is great. I'm not denying I have 3 MySpace accounts. But don't just rely on MySpace. Don't just rely on Facebook. Don't just rely on the posters. Don't just rely on word of mouth. Don't just think a miracle's going to happen. Because if God's talking to you, that's probably a whole other subject. And don't blame your locker room when people don't come to your seats. Because especially if you have guys who are from 4 hours away, how the hell were they supposed to attract people or like grab people from your town to grab them and put them in the chairs? I'm sorry. How? Explain. If you don't have a street team or a road team or whatever, because again, promoter, one who promotes, it's your job to make sure that those seats are filled. I think one of the things that kills me is that promoters who are like, this is, I treat my boys right, I treat my talent right, and this is what I do, and I want to see this when it comes to my promotion. We are, again, we're not the next big thing, we are the big thing. And then you have a rep that precedes you. You have a rep that's a continual cycle that perpetuates how bad things are in wrestling. And you allow that to happen. It's your fault, promoter, as to why there's the talk of how bad things are in the business. And it's bad for us to assume that this is normalcy, because it's not. This is a business. This is a pro wrestling industry. And if you can't cut it, don't even think about opening up the door for your event. I'm sorry that your events only draw 20 people each time and every time that you run. I'm sorry. Work on it. Your job, one who promotes. Don't then go to your boys who you scream and yell at that they're taking money out of your pocket, that they're making your family go hungry, that they're making you go bankrupt. I'm sorry if you can't buy a can of soup for your baby. Your priorities are in the wrong place. You need to make sure that you have what it takes to put a quality event together. And I've been asked before, would I like to run an event? Hell yes. I want to do it right. I'm not going to open up a door to an event if I know I can't take care of the people who are going to be on that event. It's ridiculous. It's insane. Don't put the blame on someone else. You are the promoter. If you have right and left hand people who are helping you put things together, that's great. That's your team. You can rely on them. Don't then put the fault on them when something goes wrong. Oh, well, they made that promise to you? Well, I never knew that. Because we all hear that line. The lines from promoters are great. Oh, they told you that? Well, I didn't know. I never said that. I never okayed that. Don't worry. I'll take care of you next time. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to take so-and-so to the hospital. When they're sitting in the other side of the locker room. I've seen that before. And then you go to the restaurant next door, you're sleeping around with the mistress in your car. And again, I'm just talking about the business side of things. This is a business. Learn how to run part of the business. I'll make a deal with you, promoters. You don't have to book me for your event. If you just want to come up with a tick list, if you just want to make sure that you have what it takes, if you just want to make sure that you're doing what you can as your job of promoter, give me a call. Drop me an email. Send me a message on YouTube, MySpace, or Facebook. I'm not a hard person to find. And I will help you create a path that you should walk on to get your promotion straight. That maybe you'll grab more than 20 people in your seat. It's going to require that you do your job. Do your job. Don't mark out. Now, when I say this, there's nothing wrong with fanboys who are promoters. I don't see anything wrong with it, because more likely than not, they're going to be the ones who respect your talent a little bit more because they know what they want to see. As long as they're following the things that they should be doing. But it doesn't mean that you suck up to the name talent you brought in the entire night, so the rest of your event goes to crap because you didn't follow through on what you wanted to see for the rest of the event because you were too busy paying the $300 bar tab from the name. And that's unfair. That's unfair. Because 98% of names I meet are awesome people. And I think a lot of the people who are out there have a horrible reputation for no reason at all. And it sucks. It really, really sucks. And I will go ahead and say it because I know what people are probably thinking. I did not see that this weekend. So I'm not calling anybody out from this weekend. But I have seen stuff like that happen before. Promoters, I'm sorry if you feel entitled to the right to have an event, but you don't want to be the owner of your event. That makes no sense. You're not entitled to a thing until you prove that you're worth it, that you can cut it, just like any of the talent that's in your ring, or that you're using, or your video producers, or your sound guys, or your commentators, or your ring announcers, or whoever. The guy who drives the U-Haul truck, is he getting there fast enough? Whatever it is, it starts with you, and it should end with you, and it should follow through with the things that you've laid out. Because you're the promoter, you're the one who dictates how your event's going to run. Don't show up 5 minutes before your event going, here it is, and then leave before the event's over. Ridiculous. Don't do it. I think I've gone on way too long. I'm serious. If you seriously want to have a conversation about how to put an event together, how to run it, let's talk. You don't even have to book me, because it's for the boys. Because it's ridiculous to see some of the people who are treated the way they are out there. And promoters, it's your fault. You need to make sure you're taking care of it.